Good morning and welcome to day 3 of round 5 for the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship from Malaysia here at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. It's the final race day. It's the showdown for the title this weekend for one class, and then the battle continues for the rest. Let's begin with the TVS. Hiroki Ono with a fantastic battle with Ramdan Rosli, and he came out victorious. Ramdan second and Sarthak Chavan third. That championship fight keeps on going. It is so tightly packed, so that's going down right till the final race in Buriram in round 6. In the Underbone 150s, Husni Zanufati had the opportunity to seal the championship in race 1, but now that's being carried forward to race 2 today. 74-point lead for Husni Zanufati after finishing third. He only needs to score 1 point, and with that 1 point, it doesn't matter whether Fahmi Bassam wins or he doesn't. Husni will become the champion for the Underbone 150 should he finish with the points. Now in the AP 250 class, there was a dramatic start and a dramatic finish as well. Fadila RB Aditama had a bit of a technical glitch with his bike. The bike stopping, he got to restart the bike, rejoin, and managed to score a few points. Then we saw Kritapat and Murabil involved in I think it was a 5-rider pile-up at turn 4. And that resulted in Iza Mikmal going up into second and finishing in second. So the championship battle now, it's so tightly packed in the AP 250 as well. But poor old Kritapai and Murabil are unable to score points in race 1. In the 600s, Adananta Putra, again, Sepang seems to be a bit of an Achilles heel. He crashed out, rejoined, scored 3 points. But that means now Kasma Daniel closes down the gap after finishing in second. Sharifuddin Azman winning the Super Sport 600 race. In the ASV 1000s, we know the A1 Energy BMW is no longer joining us for round 5. We do hope to see them back in round 6 later on. But in the race, it was dramatic. Kito Abe crashing out at turn 4. Andy Farid not involved in the championship battle, but he crashed out at turn 7. And Hafiz Sharin winning the race. Azroy, another one who won twice here in round 2, he crashed out at turn 9, rejoined, scored a few points. But it was Hafiz followed by Zakon, followed by Nakran Atira Puvapat. So 3 riders at the top fighting for the championship. Now we have 4 riders within less than 20 points. It is a tightly packed championship battle. So, title decided for Underbone 150, title battles for every other category. First off, let's head to the warm-up, and then we'll have the pit lane walk, and then we're going to have the final race of this weekend. We'll catch you on track.
Many thanks to Daniel Bogers, and a very warm welcome to this Sunday morning warm-up session from me, Barry Russell, in the commentary box. Daniel will be joining me shortly. As he said, this is round 5, day 3, so warm-up in the morning, during which time we shall be picking the bones out of what happened yesterday, and race 2 this afternoon, when Daniel and I will be joined by none other than Des Corkill, the voice of ARRC for the afternoon. Now, looking around at the weather, the skies are much heavier than we've seen them in the last 3 days, and there is a very high chance of rain. In fact, according to my weather application, it's raining at the moment, although according to looking outside, it's not. So we had a fantastic fight for the lead all the way through the race yesterday. The race winner from last time, or a race winner from last time, Luis Miguel, got away well. Hiroki Ono, who came in with a championship lead of 3 points, quickly snatched the lead back for him, but Ramdan Rosli, who was coming in from 3rd in the championship at that stage, got onto his tail and stayed there and got in front of him, and we were treated to a thrilling last lap battle for the lead, which Hiroki Ono managed to get the better of Ramdan at the final turn. Turn 15, he got the better drive out and crossed the line 47 thousandths of a second in front of his Malaysian rival. It really was a battle between the imperious Hiroki Ono and the indomitable Ramdan Rosli. Important for the championship. If Hiroki Ono wins today, he will stretch his lead, and Ramdan Rosli, of course, knows that, and so vital for him to finish in front of Hiroki Ono. And Sarthak Chavan also very close. Yesterday he was a couple of seconds adrift of the two riders in front of him, but he is within just a few points. Hiroki Ono has a 10-point lead as it stands. He's on 176 points, Ramdan's on 166, and Sartak just 2 points behind him. So a very, very tight, finely poised battle, which will, as Daniel said, come down to the very last round and probably the last race at Buriram in early December. So let's take a look at the runners and riders in this 10-minute warm-up session. Number 4 there had a good race yesterday, Chirant Vishwanath. In the end he had to concede 4th place to Luis Miguel, but Chirant on very good pace all this weekend. Leandro Paredes, the number 13 bike you just saw go through, Filipino, had his best race of the season. Number 26 there is one of the new riders to us in this series, that's Jed Louis, the young Australian, so very warm welcome to him to the TVS Asia One Make Championship. 13, that's Leandro Paredes. Number 8 is Luis Miguel, who really has brought some excitement to the championship. Couldn't hang on to the leaders yesterday and dropped back during the course of the race, but he does go well at Sepang, and so hopefully he'll find the pace that the later race pace that he was missing yesterday. And the number 11 coming through there is a very highly regarded rider from Thailand in the lighter motorcycle categories. Hasn't quite put it together on the TVS Apache RR310, but he's a very talented rider with indeed a distinguished record in the ARRC, with multiple podium finishes in the AP250 class going back a few years. Just 4 minutes remaining in this session. The riders re-familiarise themselves with this circuit, particularly the likes of Jed Louis. So the number 11 is Kanatat. He would have been disappointed with his pace and his result yesterday. There he is, just shadowing Jed Louis there. But really, Kanatat's better familiarity with the Sepang circuit. Jed Louis, teenage Australian, hasn't been here before, so he needs all the track time he can possibly get. And the more experienced Kanatat goes ahead on the road. Luis Miguel, the quickest of the riders so far, 2:23.5 is the best time he's recorded. And it's good to see Rendy on track. He had a crash in qualifying and didn't make the race yesterday, so hopefully he's feeling okay. He's done a 2:24, so he can't be that bad. Most of the other riders not really on a race pace. Haziq Farouz on a 2:25, Sartak Shaban on a 2:24.4. They'll get one more flying lap by the time they come round again. After they complete this lap, they'll have one more flying lap, and that will be done and dusted for the TVS Asia One Make Championship. There is the heroic, indomitable Ramdan Rosny, carrying that number 2, which was awarded by dint of his 2nd place in the championship in 2024. He's just behind there, Hapisa Rofa, and lots of people in this Asia Road Racing paddock very happy to see Hafiz Arofa back in the bosom of the Asia Road Racing Championship. Very popular rider, and with a phenomenal record in underbones. So getting to grips with this tanked machine. It's taking him a little while to get up to speed, but he's been getting faster and faster. And so after finishing 9th yesterday, the fastest lap of 2:26.5, expect to see him improving. So he goes very wide there. Sartak Shaban, quickest so far now, 2:22.7 for the Indian Championship contender. Ramdan Rosley in the 2:27s, but going much quicker this time around, so he could well end up with the fastest time of this brief warm-up session. Rider there going very wide, but kept out of the way. There is Ramdan on the back straight, staying right out wide and peeling in this very tricky and throughout World Motorsport infamous turn 15 is off camber, so a very challenging corner to navigate. Do you go tight and save the distance, or do you go wide and try to get a better drive out? Lots and lots of experimentation from riders to try to find the key to getting out of turn 15 quickly, getting the advantage on your rivals on the short run-up to the finish line. So Ramdan Rosley does indeed go to the top with a very rapid lap of 2:21.563 for warm-up. Hiroki Ono was next up, 2:22.693, yesterday's race winner. Yesterday's P3 finisher, Sartak Shaban, 2:22.741. Luis Miguel, who finished 4th yesterday, and Chirant Vishwanath finished 5th, so that was in fact the finishing order in the race yesterday. And then it was Rendi, Haziq Farouz, Leandro Paredes, Kanatak Jamin, Hafiz Arofa, and we'll just take a little look back while we wait for the next session, which will be the Underbone 150. Take a quick look back at yesterday's race 1. Welcome back to Sunday morning warm-up. This is the second session here at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit, and as you can see, it's the barking of the Underbones that is coming your way, this Aural feast. And there is yesterday's race winner, the number 50, FIM, who pulled off that very rare trick in the modern history of the Asia Road Racing Championship, and that is of winning an Underbone race by a big margin. He just ran away from the rest of the field on the final lap, and the only rider that I can remember doing that in the last few years is the same rider, FIM, who did it a few years ago at Buriram. So
Akira's also another one that managed to do it. His teammate back in Zhuhai. And then Indian had a bike issue. I'm pretty sure there was another occasion that Akid did manage as well, but I can't recall when it was.
Right, so a very rare feat indeed, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned in the same team, Akida's is, and FIM, that is one hell of a strong team.
I think that's one of the reasons why we expected them this season to be really fighting for the championship. I came into 2025 thinking, wow, Superfast JRT, they're going to do something special this year, because both Afivan and Akid have proven on many occasions that they can win a race and do it in a very dominant way. It's just a matter of a full season performance now, but this season is a far cry from what I expected.
Yeah. So, well, FIM did it yesterday. I think he's approaching with a different strategy today, because the others might have figured out what he did yesterday and block him from doing it. So let's see what happens. But once again, it was an incredible race, and massive respect to Fahmi Bassam for fighting all the way through as well. He had to finish in front of Husni Zainal Fawzi to stop Husni clinching the championship, and he did that by one place and less than a bike's length, but he did it, and that means that as we go into race 2 this afternoon, Husni goes in with a lead of 74 points in the championship. There are 75 points left on the table, so even I can do the maths there. And as you said in your opening, Daniel, he needs just 1 point regardless of what Fahmi Bassam does, so he can finish 15th and clinch the championship. The lowest finish we've seen from Husni this year is a P4. So, I mean, it's worth reading off his results, starting from round 1. First, fourth, round 2. First, round 3. First, round 4. Second, and round 5 yesterday, P3. Absolutely incredible performance all the way through. So what do you think? The pressure is off Husni?
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, there is a pressure of don't mess it up, but I think in terms of the championship, he doesn't have to think about winning. He just can ride however he wants, stay consistent, do exactly what he's been doing, and finish the race well.
That seems to be. We wondered in Mandalika whether he would be feeling the pressure, especially at his home race, but he just came through with the results once again.
Yeah, I think we did see the pressure in practice for him. There's a moment of frustration from Husni in the free practice on Mandalika. That was the first time we ever saw Husni lose his cool a bit, and I think it was just the fact that he was at his home race, and yeah, to win the championship there would have been special. And I think once we got to Saturday, they probably just told him, look, if it happens here, it happens. If it doesn't, it's completely fine still. Just do what you do.
Yeah, ride your race. That's it. But, a season to remember for everybody involved in the Asia Road Racing Championship, and especially for the rider on your screen there, having some quality time on his own out there. It was a notably good day as well for Race Tech 60. Dimas Juli came through in 4th, and Wayuaji, I think, was two places adrift. Sorry, Wayuaji was 4th. Julie 1 from sorry. I've just been served up the I fumbled the race results I was looking for. But a good day yesterday for the 2 Race Tech 16 machines.
That's Shuffle Russell that's gone off there. Oh, and another one, that's one of the GRT bikes. That looks like Afif.
That's...
Yeah, that's Afif because Akid is still in this. Afif crashes out at turn 15 by the looks of it.
Oh. Right, he's taking a bit of a count there. Hopefully only winded, but that's an
exit.
Yeah.
That is a bit concerning for the race winner from race 1.
Likely eye sign. Let's see. It's, you don't really see it on screen, but that's it's an off-camber corner. It's a difficult one.
Especially with lightweight machines are pushing the bike through rolling speed. It's so easy to lose the rear.
Right, so he's on his feet. He's taking the breather. So, no signs at all of injury.
Daniel Damar there, front. Yeah, Damar an exciting entrance from LFN.
Yeah, really exciting race there yesterday. Daniel Damar, the number 70. Yeah, he looked like he was going to end up on the podium, but went too deep on the entrance to turn 15 and dropped back.
Sure, shocky for the Forest 1M Evo Yamaha racing team. They're currently sitting in 15th. Comes into this championship with Donning's number 70. Looking to try and make a good finish to this weekend. Daniel Damar number 145 there, just right behind Akiraziz.
And still defending champion 222 farming Sam in there as well. Dimas Juliet Moko, you're talking about Race Tech 60. Quickest in this session so far. Session being nearly finished, just 10 minutes, but there he is on the, we decide that was fluorescent lime yellow. That was our final decision yesterday afternoon's race after some discussion with Des.
Fluorescent lime yellow.
Fluorescent, yeah, lime yellow.
I'll go with that.
Go figure.
Yeah.
So Afif's teammate Akidaziz, who didn't finish the race yesterday. I believe that was a mechanical issue for him. He's done the 2:33. Dimas Julie, very quick at this early stage in proceedings, 2:32. Shazras, 2:33, quickest of the Hondas. No surprise to see that young man, the quickest of the Honda-mounted riders. Dimas Julie, one place short of the podium yesterday. He was a winner in Mandalika. In championship terms, he's in the battle for the runner-up spot. So as we go into this race, our runaway leader, Hasni, is on 194, Fahmi Bassam on 120, Dimas Juli on 110, and the FIFAM Ran's runaway win puts him into contention with a score of 100 points. Fajrul Sham won at this round last year, number 11 there on the Cardinals factory Yamaha. Once again, we see these riders complete the final lap. See if anybody's doing anything special.
Oh, we're faster in qualifying. 232s, 233s.
Yeah. Yeah, these are seriously good times. Cool conditions out there. Very high likelihood of rain today. So let's see. So we were talking about a good day for yesterday for Race Tech 60. They were 4th and 5th at the line. And warm up at 1st and 3rd. There it is, Dimas Juli at Moco with very, very decent time that would have been in qualifying, 232.6. Kidders is 233.6, and just a few thousandths behind him. Wayuaji Triloxana, Cheryl Shazras for Estremo Yuzi Asia, and Husni Zainal Fauzi 5th. Fahmi Basan 6th, April King Moscado, he was threatening well in the race yesterday. Ahmad Fajrul Sham was 8th quickest for Cardinals factory Yamaha Zynergies Racing Team, ARRC, to give them their full title. And then it was Dawish, Ahmad Zahir for Estremo Yuzi, Kiki Sudaman, number 178 for JPNW SND Factory Racing, another really good performing Honda. Pirapong Lubin Pen ran well yesterday, had a wire become disconnected and didn't manage to finish the race. And Gubita Krishna did a 235.4. Fizi Sabat and Tengu Amaral on the Vosges machines were in the 235s, 236s. Sharat Sauki, 4S1N Evo, and rounding out the warm-up session, Curvy Emmanuel Bagania for UMA MMR Yamaha Philippines, 23rd, 24th Shafiq Rasol for Maestro NWN SCK Honda, just a 242 for him. No time recorded for Aditya Fauzi or Afif Amran, who we saw crash out at turn 15. Hopefully everything is all right with those riders, and we will see them this afternoon. So once again, as those riders come in, our next session up will be warm-up session for the AP250 class. What a race that was yesterday. And in the meantime, we will have a quick look back at race 1 for the Underbones. Welcome back to warm-up at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. We are here for day 3 of round 5 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship 2025. On your screen now, this is the 3rd session of the day for the AP250s. And what a dramatic race we had yesterday. We'll be discussing in a moment. There was one of the riders who finished well, number 65, Chao Vietnam. Some remarkable performances. The race winner there on your screen, number 88, Chandra Hermawan, his first win in the category. He's been quick all season and he converted that into a place on the top step of the podium. So massive kudos to him, and also to the number 571 there, Fadil Masyavi. He came through in P3. There's number 39, race winner last time at Sepang in race 2, Kridapat Kankum. We lost a lot of riders yesterday in 4 or 5, I think it was a 5-rider incident among the front runners, when one rider went down and the others followed. It was just an incredible piece of misfortune, but we lost some of the leading riders, and that gave the championship a very much different complexion by the time we'd gotten to the checkered flag. One of the fallers was none other than championship leader RB, the number 93. Sorry, RB was a non-finisher. He had a mechanical issue. He fixed it and did come back and recovered to pick up a few points. 1 point indeed in P15. So the riders who went down in that incident, Rintaro Takamoto for TY and Torres, he was the first rider to go down, and then there was a kind of a domino effect with Davino Brittani for Astra Honda, and just went down there, Murabil Vitoni and Kridapat Kankum. So it was a difficult day for those riders. It was a good day though in championship terms for Izam Iqmal, who was in contention and has now closed the gap in the championship to Fadila RB. He's put himself in P2. Fadila RB now on 146. Izam Iqmal 22 points behind on 124. So this is another championship that is nowhere near decided. Kridapat with a 0 score yesterday is on 108. Murabil Vitoni is on 102. We did see the emergence yesterday of Fadil Masyavi, the number 571. Also of Daniel Shami on the Uma machine. In the end, Daniel Shami came through in 6th, but he looked very much like a podium contender. What did you make of his performance, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't end up on the podium. I think the way Daniel has been running since Mandalika, most of the people would have expected him up there, but perhaps just a lot of chaos happening in the race, and maybe Daniel wasn't interested to take too much of a risk. And of course, the change in track conditions over the weekend, maybe he just lacked a bit of confidence in the race. But it's a new day. It's going to be, well, for most of them, it's going to be a better one. They'll understand the bikes a bit better, they'll understand the situation a bit better. So I think we'll see definitely in race 2, Daniel Shami fighting for podium spots. What I'm still surprised is Irfan Adiansha. We know Irfan Haikal's out due to the injury, but Irfan Adiansyah, what has happened to him?
Yeah, he should be on the podium, really.
Indeed, yeah. Especially at Sepang. He does the Malaysian Championship here in Sepang as well, with the same team. With the same team, he's also racing in Mandalika, so he's doing 3 championships on the same bike with the same teams. Yet the result today has just not come. Well, this entire weekend. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is a really strange one. And Chandra in warm-up, that's a pretty decent time, 2:23.7 for him. Galanghendra didn't quite make the podium yesterday.
Again, another P4 for Galanghendra. It's unbelievable how close he has been all season to consistent podiums, but he's only scored a podium once.
Yeah, there he is, yesterday's race winner, the number 88. Number 65, Chao Vietnam, has had a pretty indifferent season by his standards, but also another rider that goes well at Sepang.
There we go, Vietnam. Just keep it together.
Shami just having a look at the back there. Got a bat 0 score yesterday. Really good thing about that for him in championship terms was that Arby was a low scorer.
Yeah, in terms of the gap between RB and Kritipad, it only increases by a single point, but the problem for Kritipad and Underbone now is the fact that Izam did score big points, 20 points yesterday.
Yeah, that's right, that was good for him, especially...
Oh! That was a massive moment from Dennis Shami. He nearly sideswiped the Yamaha Racing Indonesia rider off the bike. That, and I don't think he knows what happened right behind him there. That was for Chandra. Chandra would not be in knowledge of what just happened behind him. Let's see that again.
Yeah, so Daniel Shami is the number 57, just inside him, number 88, yesterday's race winner. So he's changes down, and just the back comes out and almost hits the side of Chandra Hermawan.
I bet you Chandra will be feeling very, very lucky once he sees that replay. Taro Takamoto, sorry, Taro, that's
the
his teammate,
Fadil Al-Ghassani. Yeah, it's in many ways an impressive ride by Al-Ghassani. And Rintaro Takamoto were an impressive showing by those riders this weekend, coming in as 2 replacements for the 2 regular riders in TY and Tares. Both been really quick, but of course Takamoto was involved in that big race shunt. And what to look out for him. I haven't seen him on the screen yet, because he was hit by another bike as he landed. So yeah, there's a TY and Torres machine just cruising around. Fadil Al-Ghassani. Just looking out for the number 81 of Rintaro Takamoto. There he is. So Takamoto, after what looked like a horrifying crash yesterday, has shown up for warm-up. Hopefully not really too many aches and pains for him. Number 56 there, as we were just saying, another P4 for Galanghendra yesterday. And there's an interesting group there, or interesting 2 riders there. Murubul Vitoni, another contender that fell yesterday, 124. He did not fall. Izam Iqbal for Victor Racing. He came through to P2, a really good move in the championship for the Malaysian. Murubul Vitoni, quick as always. Fun fact, Well, Wilbertoni has started from pole position, not only here, but last round in Mandalika and the previous round in Motegi, and this is his rookie season. As these riders come in, it's very much as though Chandra Hermawan is maintaining his good form. Tops the sheets in this warm-up. You can see the grey skies there in the background, but they're 2:23.729. Decent pace in warm-up for Chandra Hermawan. And then Galangendra Pratamar riding on the Yamaha BAF Yamalube Akai Jaya MBK W2 racing machine, his team. Then Aiki Yoshi, good performance yesterday, finished 5th. Daniel Shami, who we were talking about earlier, Fadila Arbia Ditama, 2:24. Then it was Kritapat Kamkum, then Irfan Ardiansha. Much better showing from him in warm-up. Hopefully we'll be seeing him later. Fadil Mushavi on the podium yesterday was 8th quickest. Then it was Andy Padley for Motul Kawasaki Sniper Manual Tech. He did a 2:25. Kayam Razak, Cardinals Factory replacement rider for Faris Putra. Murabul Vitoni, 2:25.5 for the championship contender. Chao Vietnam was next up. Finished 2nd yesterday, 16th in warm-up. Isam Ikmal for Victor Racing. And then it was Nguyen Tonanpu for Extremo Yuzi Asia team. Gao Zhang for Team One for All, 18th, 2:27 for him. Jazil Jarami, who we'll be talking to later this morning, 19th quickest, and then it was Nguyen Hu Tri. Then Kevin Kintal, 21st. 23rd in warm-up. Long Nanze for Victor Racing, no time recorded. For Fadil Al-Ghassani Priyadi, he was on track but didn't manage to record a time. And Irfan Heikel, who I suspect is injured after a crash in qualifying yesterday. So that's the warm-up for AP250s. We'll take a look back at the race yesterday, and when we come back after that, it will be with warm-up for the Supersport 600s. So stay with us. We are at Petronas Sepang International Circuit for round 5 of the Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship.
Idemitsu engine oils are precisely formulated for meticulously engineered Japanese car engines. We are committed to delivering optimal performance. We fulfill this commitment through 5 ultra-protective benefits known as Quintec Guard. They unleash the peak performance of treasured cars. Drive anywhere with confidence. Feel the excitement in your heart. The highest quality engine oils in the history of Idemitsu.
So what I'm going to ask Fami is what his plans are for the last few races in this championship, since he's still battling his second with Dimas. So Fami, pertarungan untuk kejuaraan sudah hampir berakhir bagi Fami. Tapi masih ada persaingan dengan Dimas untuk posisi kedua. Dengan apa harapan Fami untuk 3 balapan yang terakhir ini?
Untuk saya sendiri sih ingin mengumpulkan poin sebanyak-banyaknya. Mungkin untuk champion Alpi tinggal mengumpulkan 1 poin lagi untuk mengunci gelar juara, dan pertarungan runner up mungkin agak sengit juga sampai seri terakhir. Mungkin saya akan berusaha semaksimal mungkin untuk mendapatkan runner up.
So he said the target was basically to get as maximum points as possible for the last 3 races, because there's only 1 point left for Messi to get the championship, so he's hoping to be able to give the maximum for the last few. So the next one I'm going to ask him is what the racing plans are. Since we're already at the end of the season, there are already talks on where everyone's going for next season. So is it going to be an Underbone 150 or AP 250? So Fahmi, apakah sudah punya rencana balapan untuk musim 2026? Masih di UB 150 atau di AP 250?
Untuk tahun depan saya mungkin akan naik ke AP 250, dan mungkin saya akan mempersiapkan diri saya untuk bertarung di kelas AP 250.
So essentially what he says is that he is going to go up to the AP 250 category, and I think that's something we're all going to be looking out for. So next one, lastly, if we could give a message to the Indonesian fans. So terakhir, bisa Fahmi sampaikan pesan untuk para penggemar Fahmi di Indonesia.
Untuk warga Indonesia, selalu dukung saya dan kami semua pembalap Indonesia yang berlaga di Asia Road Racing Championship. Untuk yang di rumah juga, tolong doakan saya, ibu, keluarga, istri saya di rumah juga. Sampai jumpa di balapan race 2 nanti.
Thank you so much, Fahmi. Good luck for today's race.
Welcome back everyone to Sunday morning warm-up here at the Petronas Sepang International Circuit. We are just outside Kuala Lumpur and very close to the airport here in Malaysia. We have had warm-up sessions for TVS for Underbone 150s and AP 250s. Now we have a 15-minute warm-up session for the Supersport 600 category. As you can see on your screen here, the number 500 is Anupab Sarmoon. He has raced here 3 times this year in the Supersport class and finished 3rd on each occasion. It has looked as though he hasn't quite had the pace, but the nature of the rider is that he always comes through really strongly in the race. And while he was a long way off the first 2 finishes yesterday, finishing 3rd counts when you are in contention for the championship. Championship leader crashed out yesterday, remounted to finish 13th, so just to salvage a few points, which could become important later on. But the number 63 going through there on your screen was Sharifuddin Azman, who really showed us his class yesterday with a very well judged win. He managed his tyres well, and as the other tyre performance of his rivals faded, and he managed to stay on the pace and pulled away from the initial leader, Daniel Kazmayuddin, who had dominated free practice and qualifying, but his tyres couldn't stay with him for the full race. Sharifuddin Azman judged it exactly right, took the lead and held it to finish 1.6 seconds clear of Kazma. Kazma knew that he didn't have the tyres to stay with him, so settled for 20 points, and 5.5 seconds back, Anupab Sarmoon came through to finish 3rd. Notable crasher was Wayu Nugroho, so he did not finish. Wayu Nugroho really becoming a contender this season, so he'll be looking for better things today, as will Tanak Longpeao for Honda Racing Thailand. He was 6th yesterday, 10.6 seconds adrift, and just missing out in a battle for 5th to Herjan Atna. There is Kazma Daniel, who has been the quickest rider so far this weekend. But his tyres faded in extremely hot conditions yesterday. Be looking to go one better today, although this is a much more conservative Kazma than we've seen in previous seasons. He's looking for finishes, he's trying to reduce the risks of DNFs, because over the course of a season, consistency puts you in contention for the championship. We haven't seen him on screen yet, but our championship leader, Adinanta Putra, came into round 5 with a 28-point lead. That's now down to 12 points. And Kazma's 20 points put him into 2nd. So the actual numbers are Adinanta Putra, 136 points, 124 for Kazma, and Anupab Sarmoon on 121, and the best of the rest is Wayu Nugroho on 95, Helmi Azman on 94. And shout out to Helmi yesterday, looked as though he was going to finish 3rd yesterday, but in the end he got his pocket picked on turn 15 by Anupab Sarmoon. But the kudos, because he had a horrifying crash in qualifying yesterday morning. We were surprised to see him starting. He qualified 3rd, despite that that crash. Was obviously feeling a bit sore, but rode a really brave race. And now you can see the white flag with the red cross on it. That means slippery conditions, and rain is forecast here at Sepang today. 80 to 85% likelihood of rain, according to our weather apps. It's not visible from our commentary position at the moment, and sometimes at Sepang it rains at different points on the circuit. Now if we look at the lap times, Kazma Daniel once again at the top, 2:10.4, very decent race pace. Tanat Longplao next up, so no sign of water or rainy conditions slowing these riders down at the moment. But let's see, it wouldn't be at all surprising to see wet races this afternoon. So current quickest, Kazma and Tanat in the 2:10s, and then we've got Helmi, 2:11s, a whole load of riders coming in now, so that might mean they're feeling the raindrops on their visors and decided not to take any risks. I do suspect that's what it is. Chakrapat Pudisan for Honda Racing Thailand pulls in behind a whole load of other bikes. So on your screen there, that's Rocco Sessler, the number 15. He's going to come in. Number 89 is Wayne Agroho. All these riders coming into the pits, so it will be because they can feel the rain, and indeed I can see it just on the surface in pit lane. Shajin Chong for Victor Racing rumbles in. So it could be an early finish to this session. In comes Rocco Sessler, who'll pull into the Team One for All pit. And if so, a curtailed session. It's not raining hard enough and the track's not getting wet enough for them to experiment with wet tyres. It might be different if this persists for the ASB 1000 warm-up, which is due in 15 minutes from now. So we'll just have to see what it is. I think everybody is in the pits now. The last rider to come in was championship leader Adananta Putra. Okay, the teams in pit lane, all looking skywards, holding their hands out in that universal signal that it's raining, but not very much. There's a few fans in the stand who've got themselves under cover. So it has all gone quiet at Sepang. So in terms of the race yesterday, the big surprise was Adananta Putra not finishing. Well, not finishing in the points. He took away just 3 points for a P13 finish. And that followed race 2 at Mandalika, which was a DNF for him. So he needs to just steady his campaign as we get into the last 3 races of the season, or the last quarter of the championship. This is a 6-round, 12-race championship. So Adananta just needs to take a breath. He still has a 12-point advantage, and make sure that he gets good results and finishes in all the remaining 3 races. Other riders here with DNFs. In fact, all the first 5 have DNFs on their record. for Adananta. He was on the podium twice in round 1 with a P1 and a P3. Round 2 here at Sepang, he won race 1, but fell, remounted, and finished 15th in race 2. Round 3 was at Motegi in Japan, and he took a P3 and a win. Round 4 at Mandalika was a win and a DNF, and a P13 yesterday. So this is a really close championship. Unfortunate for Wayu Nugroho, who in his home round at Mandalika back in August, he had a DNF in race 2 after finishing 2nd in race 1. So his DNF yesterday was unfortunate, but this is a rider on the rise. He also finished 4th and 2nd in Motegi. He took a 5th last time in Sepang, and a 3rd and a 5th in the opening round. So Wayu Nugroho very much one to look out for. McKinley Carl Paz has had a season where he's looked like improving, although this weekend hasn't been his best. He came in P4 yesterday, but yesterday was a slightly strange race. If you're looking at the monitor now, you can probably see just like a hazing effect. That does indicate that there's rain. So when we get to the last warm-up session, it's going to be interesting to see whether we have a properly wet track that the superbikes can experiment with, or whether it's just these kind of very difficult, not wet, not dry conditions that don't really tell you anything. And that's why there are no Supersport 600 bikes out on the track at the moment. No wild cards in Supersport this round. Just looking down the list of winners. McKinley Carl Paz, we were talking about just then, he started the season really strongly in race 1 with a P2. He was on the podium again in Motegi. Two P6s in Mandalika. Yesterday 10th. So while we wait and wait, nobody will come out on track now. If there were bikes on track, the checkered flag would be coming out in less than a minute from now to end this session for the Supersport machines. I don't know if looking around the track whether it's raining all the way around, but certainly it's kind of drizzly here. This is not the classic Sepang rain that absolutely soaks you in a second. It's just a drizzly, mizzly kind of rain, mizzle being a mixture of mist and drizzle. So this session comes to an end. The superbikes are due out at 10:25. And the checkered flag is out. So they're doing what it says in the manual. 2 checkered flags are being hung out, one at low level, one at high level. There are many, many challenges at Sepang International Circuit. So let's just take a look at the few minutes that these bikes were on track. It was once again Kazma Daniel on top with a 2:10.4, and then it was Tanat Longpliao looking lively for the few laps that he did, 2:10.863, and then it was Helmi Asman good to see him back after knocking himself around yesterday. Caroline Pawi for Idemitsu Honda Racing Malaysia, 2:11.3. Ferozi Torakatula for Yamaha Racing Indonesia, 2:11. Also in the 2:11s was Adinanta Putra. And then yesterday's race winner, Sharafuddin Azman, took a look around. He took 2 minutes and 12 seconds to do it, as did Reza Danica Arens. McKinley Carpaz for Hongnong Yamaha, Kazma's teammate, 2:12.243. Then it was Rocco Sessler, clocked a 2:13, as did Herjanatna Firdaus. And Pab Samoon, 2:13.4, was 12th quickest. And then it was Jakrapat Padisan for Honda Racing Thailand, 2:14.7. Wayuna Groho did a 2:15, and Shajian Tong a 2:16 for Victor Racing Team's Chinese rider. So while we wait for the ASB 1000 session, we are going to have an interview with Jazil Jurami, the Singapore rider in the AP 250 class, who himself has a very good following. So don't go far away, because we'll be speaking to Jazil very shortly. Okay, let's go to Daniel.
As the rain has begun to fall on the track, I've taken some shade at the Team ACR garage with Jazil Jurami from Singapore. Jazil, how are you doing?
Yeah, so far good. Yeah.
So yesterday, not a bad point scoring result for you. Tell us what's different this weekend compared to the previous rounds.
So this weekend here in Sepang is one of my favorite track. So I expect to have some good results. But unfortunately, the last few days, I had some technical problem, so I had a bad qualifying. So yeah, today the bike in warm-up was good, and yesterday in race 1 the bike was good. So today in race 2, I try my best to go to the top 15 or top 10.
Has there been any updates to the bike since round 1, or has it been the same bike since then?
There's an update for now. Yeah, because it's hard to fight with the factory team, so we upgrade some of our parts. So maybe not as fast as them, but we try our best to keep up the pace.
Okay, so 5 rounds done after race 2, final round coming up in Bremen after this, 3 races left. What's the target for the last 3 races?
Our target for the team so far is to get some points. Actually, top 15 is alright for them. But for the last few rounds, we are struggling very hard because of the bike. So my team is trying their best to give me the best bike to fight with them. But only in Sepang, I will try my best to get some points. Yeah, today I will try my best to get some points.
So as we can see, the weather now has, as forecasted, it's raining. I know that you're good in the wet. So are your expectations going to be higher for yourself if it is a wet race, or will it be about the same?
Actually, I have been praying every day for rain here, but I know the other riders also is quite fast. So I'm not sure, because in these few rounds already we haven't raced in the rain. So maybe today race 2 gonna have rain. So we'll see how. I'll try my best to get some good points today for the team.
So 2025 almost done. What's the plans looking like for you and the team in 2026?
Yeah, we will continue next year. Yeah, but we gonna find another teammate for me. So, but not yet confirmed. So, I'm looking forward to joining next year, because I think this is the only chance for me to be here in the ARC. So maybe after next year I have to retire already, because I've been racing for too long already, and my results are not so good for the past few years. Yeah, so I try my best to give a good result before I stop racing next year maybe.
So last but not least, a message to the Singaporean fans who may be watching it this week.
Yeah, okay. I'm been happy for the support from Singapore. They have been supporting me from the start of my racing until now. So today also some of my family and friends come here to support. It's not easy because they have to drive from Singapore to here in 3-4 hours. So I try to give my best and give them some good result today.
Thank you so much, Jazil. Good luck for the race later.
Thank you.
Idemitsu IRG5. Start like a rocket and shift like silk with Superbike-proven nano-tailored oil. Ultra-protective Quintec guard technology distills the wisdom of oil experts. 5 protective benefits in harmony unleash the peak performance of your engine. Nano Silky Tech ensures extra smooth upshifting at high RPM. Rocket starts, silky shifts. Idemitsu IRG5.
Well, welcome back to Sepang International Circuit here in Malaysia. The reason that you're looking at bikes and tyres is that it is raining here at Sepang, very much as forecast, but rain never really surprises us here at Sepang. It started drizzling during the last session, the warm-up for the Supersport 600s, and during the break I took the opportunity to walk out onto the podium, which is just a few steps away from our commentary position, and I would describe the rain here as a steady drizzle. So there you are, you can take that as official. One rider on your screen there who is very good in wet conditions is Nakarin Atirapuvapat. He's currently there and one of the new riders to this championship on the number 220. That's the young Australian Declan Carberry. Great to see him here. It's a very challenging circuit to come to for the first time in this championship. But Declan's been improving steadily all the way through the weekend. Nakarin, of course, a championship contender. He's bagged 132 points. That is just 10 less than the championship leader as of yesterday afternoon, Hafiz Shirin Abdullah, who has 142. Hafiz not out on track yet. I saw him just trudging out on track, testing the pit lane surface with his boot for grip, and then taking a look. I think he's still out with his team on the pit wall. So let's see, but some experimentation going on. Lachlan Epis on your screen there. He's shown some promise this weekend, the number 83. He was third quickest on combined times on Friday, and yesterday came through in fourth, but it really was a race of attrition, as the number 23 will confirm, because he was very much attritioned himself. If I can just convert that into a verb. So thankfully, in a 20-minute session that may not see too many conclusive things, I'm rejoined by Daniel Bogas. I just described, Daniel, the weather conditions as a steady drizzle.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Finally, we agree on the weather.
We do agree on things, yes.
Excellent. Okay, so going through there, somebody who will be more than accustomed to wet conditions is the British rider Joe Francis. This season very much a comeback for him in his career after some horrible leg injuries. Still not fully fit, but showing plenty of Brit grit and getting on with it, and he's been getting better and better as the season's going on. This isn't a classic Yamaha Superbike circuit, Daniel, but I think he's been going pretty well. He came in 6th yesterday. There were only 9 finishers. We lost a few starters, including the A1 Energy BMWs, who've had issues with technical parts, and they are out of contention this weekend. A great shame, especially after the resurgent form of Aslan Shah. That is disappointing.
Yeah, it's a real shame that Aslan's out of the championship now due to unforeseen circumstances, and they did say that they will hope to make it back for the final run, and we do hope to see them there, because man, Api Wat and Aslan have put on a great show when the bike was working. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and we'll see them in the near future.
Yeah, that's definitely all we can do for now. And you just saw Azroy Hakim Anwar, the number 20, and the 21, Zakwan Zaidi, who came through to second yesterday. Azroy, as they came down the front straight, found the limits of the front wet tyre and just ran wide. So Zakwan's gone on ahead of him.
Yeah, it's fine. find it interesting that Hafiz hasn't come out, because he also was expecting rain for today when it came to the forecast, but you think some wet weather setup might be useful. Of course, it's not pouring down, and Sepang does tend to get a lot wetter, but just to get that wet setup in, at least electronics-wise and suspension, might be handy. That's what Kito Abe and Co are doing.
Yeah, very much so.
I mean, literally everyone is on except for Hafiz at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kito, who came in as the championship leader, took himself out of contention with a late crash yesterday. He went out on lap 7 while giving chase.
Yeah, I think Kito was starting to give it that extra 5%, and extra 5% ultimately took him out in turn 4. It's very much what we were expecting with Kito, especially how he said he was going to wait for the latter part of the race. And I think he did panic a bit when he saw Hafiz running away with this. That's when he started thinking, okay, now's the time to keep on going and push a little bit more.
Yeah, and let's give another shout out to our cameraman, because now the riders are wearing clear visors in these conditions. You can actually look into the eyes of these maniacs.
Just saw that Kito dangling his leg. Speaking of the eyes of the maniac, Kito's eyes are good ones to zoom into when he's got a clear visor on. But yeah, one thing about Sepang, just the character of the ground, the tarmac, it doesn't give you feedback in the wet. You can't really tell what it's giving you, and that's where the struggle for a rider like Kito, who hasn't ridden superbikes in the wet here, that's where it starts to come. And you can see he's just very much trying to calculate where the grip is. It's very difficult. It's very tricky, Sepang in the wet.
Yeah, one rider that's been getting on with it, who's done a 2:18.2 in these conditions, is Lachlan Epis. Say Lachlan came through to 4th yesterday, but he wasn't happy with his performance. And we're always looking for insights into the riders and what's going on in the teams. And just for those of you listening who are going to be the more geeky of our fans, and I mean that in the most complimentary and in the sense of camaraderie as well, I do recommend the Instagram account of Lachlan Epis, because he gives really good insights into his training. He gave a very candid summary of his performance yesterday. I really think that's he does good work with there, and follow him if you're really interested in what it's like to be a motorbike racer.
Just watching the body language for Kito, but yeah, what you said is true. I mean, Lachlan does give some great insight. Just watching Kito here, you can see how it is very intimidating Sepang in the wet. And this is what I mean by, for Kito right now, look at his eyes, he's laser focused, because you just can't tell what it's giving you right now at this point, and he just needs to slowly break that mental barrier until he finds out that, oh, I can lean a little bit more, I can push a bit harder, I can open the throttle a little earlier. Sepang is tricky when it's wet.
So basically you have to push until it almost goes.
It really is what it is. I mean, a few weeks ago I was on a superbike here in the wet, and I completely forgot the feeling, and I just thought, try. Next thing you know, my bike was crossed up and nearly got flung over the bike, and that's just what Sepang is. You never know what he's going to do.
Yeah, it's deceptive looking at this on screen now. It doesn't look like it's raining at all. In fact, it might have stopped.
Yeah, looks like it has stopped, but
The sky's just brightened a little bit.
it's clouds all around, so even though the glimmer of hope now is that it's going to stay dry, but we do know that it's going to be a gloomy day, and at any point it can start to drizzle and rain again.
Yeah, we've been watching here Maiku Watanuki, the Japanese rider in. The last time we saw an Aprilia here, it was in the hands of Akito Haga. In comes Nakarin. the 7 minutes. Let's see, hugely experienced rider and known to be really good in the wet as well. So it's be interesting to see what he makes of it. There is 17-year-old Aussie Cam Dunker on the Moto Go Yamaha. Great to see the team and this young rider in the championship. Really good opportunity for him. He's also campaigning in the Australian Superbike Championship and broken through with podium finishes there.
I like how Cam Dunker's gone about this. He's done what I was talking about earlier, which is just slowly find out, okay, I can lean a bit more, I can open a bit more. You can see he's getting more and more comfortable on those wet tires here. What are you hoping for, Barry? A wet race for once in this 2025 season, or for it to stay dry?
Wet races just make me nervous. Having been knocked around a few times myself, I really feel that, you know, the higher risk of picking up injuries in the wet just makes me favour dry races, to be honest. But wet races serve up all kinds of surprises. I have to say, yesterday during the Superbike race, the attrition was so unexpected, the way so many riders went down, that I felt I was watching a wet race without the water on occasion. It was a really strange one. As we mentioned earlier, Quito was one of those that went down, so was Andy Farid Izdihar, Azroy as well, although Azroy got back on to come through and pick up some points with a P8 finish.
Quito slowed down on this lap. I hope he sticks out and does a few more. Yeah, he's just really uncomfortable with the feeling. I'm afraid as Quito's going to find out if it rains later on still. That's just how it is. You just have to slowly break that barrier.
Just looking at the knee sliders here, I think he's got normal knee sliders on, hasn't he?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. It's not the rain sliders, which would be much thicker.
Yeah, yeah. Cam Dunker had the big ones on.
And for those who think it doesn't make a difference, it really does. Where you can just get a little bit of contact just to feel secure, it helps a lot in the wet. Declan Carberry has done a number of laps in this session as well. Done decently in regards to the wet timings.
Yeah, Lachlan came out early and did that 2:18. I think he's come out again. There's 4 minutes remaining. So Quito Abe, not the style that we were thrilled by yesterday, but he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah, he's coming back in there. I think something with that rear tire that he really doesn't like, so he's going to try and make it better. Doesn't really have time though, but that's why I do like when there is a bit of rain in the practice day. At least one session where they get to get their setups in, because now it's only a 20-minute warm-up session. By the time he's realized that he needs to make a change, there's not enough time to get back out afterwards.
Yeah, Makarin back out on the number 41 for Honda Racing Thailand. What has he got to show us? There is Lachlan. Another nice shot through the clear visor there. Really pushing the bike upright on the exit to turn 15 there.
Yeah, he's just come back up for his second run, so he might get 2 laps in this. You can see how much more exaggerated Lachlan's body movement is on the bike now in the wet. Just keep that bike a little bit more upright while the body counters every movement. Good wet weather riding style from Lachlan Epis, and it's very confident. Sector 1 from Lachlan.
Yeah, perhaps this could be good for him. He does seem to like Sepang. And that BMW is going much better in his hands this weekend.
We do have Sharon coming on, so if it does come up for the last couple of minutes.
Curiosity got the better of him. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And Hafiz. Oh, Hafiz is an iridium visor on in the wet. That's an interesting choice. But yeah, can Hafiz tame the horse of the Ducati in the wet?
Yeah, so it was a light to flag performance from Hafiz Sharin to flip over the championship lead of Kito Abe to a championship leader for himself. BMW just behind him, 220 is Declan Carberry, who came through almost a lap back from Hafiz yesterday.
Something just clicked in my head. So, with the wet weather riding now, because everyone's looking very unconfident in the way they're riding, they don't look comfortable. If grip was a concern yesterday, and we know what factors are affecting that, but in the wet it would be even more so now. And maybe there's just that lacking of a few percent of feel that they're getting now, which is making a big difference.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. I was thinking the same thing, but I hadn't figured out how to articulate it, so well done. And also, I mean, these conditions are not properly wet.
Yeah, it makes it all the more disturbing. You don't really know whether the grip is there or not. And when you have just a little bit of rain, you just have just a small amount of standing water, you just get this greasy feeling on track, and it's very unsettling. You can see that Hafiz is just constantly looking behind. He's just not too interested in pushing on.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what else is interesting. This is the second time we've seen Lachlan out. His last lap was a 2:19.
It's even quicker in sector 1 as well. Hafiz just watching where Declan's coming up behind him, so I think Hafiz is trying not to disturb Declan as he comes past.
Yeah, I enjoyed his post-race comments yesterday, Hafiz Sharin, especially the part where he thanked and acknowledged the hard work of the marshals.
Yeah, that was really nice to hear.
It's easy to overlook when you're just focused on the on-track drama, but these guys, they start work, you know, they're at their posts. Say this morning, first warm-up started at 9 o'clock, they would have been at their post latest by 8:30,
Yeah.
in time for the track inspection, and then that goes through all the way. It's basically a 10-hour day with very little cover from the weather, be it rain, which it often is, or shine, which it often is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's what Hafiz pointed out is very true. Without the marshals working hard and doing the job passionately, it would be impossible to have racing. So, lovely message from Hafiz, and yeah, shout out to the marshals for their hard work every single weekend.
Yeah, and thinking about that as well, we've got the pit walk coming up in 15 minutes from now. A lot of the marshals show up for the pit walk, so if you are here, and I hope you are, come along to the pit walk and have some selfies with the marshals.
Yeah.
These are great guys.
They're literally the unsung heroes.
Yeah. So, looking good in those tricky conditions. Lachlan Epis for Savitar Racing Asia, 218.2. And Nakarin in that second brief stint, 218.4 for him. And then Zakwan did a 220. He was third quickest. Fourth quickest, Ashroy Hakim Anwar, who gave the stiffest challenge yesterday to Hafiz. And then it was a cautious Keto Abe this time around for STG Harp Pro was fifth. Cam Dunker for MotoGo Yamaha Racing Team, 222.2. Joe Francis second or so back from him. And then 9th quickest was Declan Carberry. We saw yesterday's race winner Hafiz Shirin Abdullah for JDT Racing Team just briefly. Choyu Joe, good to see him out on track. He wasn't able to start yesterday. And Andy Farid Izdihar made a brief showing, but just really exploring those conditions. And sadly, as we were saying earlier, we won't be seeing the A1 Energy BMWs of Afiwat Wongtananon or local hero Aslan Shah Kamaruzaman this weekend. So we will take a break now. When we come back, it will be at 1 o'clock, but we hope to see you in pit lane. I think it stopped raining, and even if it is raining, it's very light at the moment. So do come along and join the pit walk. Get some photographs, get some merchandise, buy a happy bag, and win a chance to get a scooter, either Honda or Yamaha, both putting scooters up for grabs, for prizes. Somebody has to win, so do come along and enjoy the pit walk. Meet as many of the riders, teams and staff as you can, and we will see you back here for race 2. We'll be on air again at 1 o'clock when we'll be joined by the mighty Des Corkill, who will be taking us through the afternoon, together with myself, Barry Russell, and Daniel Bogers, who will be doing his usual incredible work down in pit lane. So stay with us, and we will see you a little bit later. We're at Sepang International Circuit for round 5 of the 2025 Idemitsu FIM Asia Road Racing Championship.
Idemitsu IRG5. Start like a rocket and shift like silk with super bike-proven nano-tailored oil. Ultra-protective Quintec guard technology distills the wisdom of oil experts. 5 protective benefits in harmony unleash the peak performance of your engine. Nano Silky Tech ensures extra smooth upshifting at high RPM. Rocket starts, silky shifts. Idemitsu IRG5.